Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to set up a material master and a material instance in Unreal Engine 4. So first off you want to create a material, and this is your graph, so we usually call this M for master or material, and call this like master base material, whatever you want to call it. Let's call it master base. And if you go into that, your graph should appear. Okay. And we just need to connect some nodes. So I'm going to press V to get a color parameter. Now, a parameter is something that will be exposed in a material instance, and that's important. So I'm just going to call this color. You set the default value here. I'll just make it white, and I'm going to channel that into base color. Okay, so let's say you wanted to change the hue of this color really quick. If you right click and do hue shift, pipe in the actual color here, and we want to change the amount. Now if you press 1, it's going to give you an absolute value that you can control only within this material graph, but let's say we want to control it outside of the graph. If you right click and do convert to parameter, and we call this hue shift, let's give it a default of 0, and let's just channel that in there, and we apply this. Now we've got access to color and hue shift outside of the material because they're both parameters. You see it says parameter. In brackets is how many vectors that parameter has. This one's got 1 vector, this one's got 4 vectors, R, G, B, and A, and this one's just a scalar value. Okay, so apply that and save it. So you're pretty much done with your graph. You can always go back in and add more nodes, but what you want to do now is right click and do create material instance, and this is what you're going to apply to your object. It's going to be hue red, right? So apply it to the ground here. Let's give it a second, and then I'm going to open up the instance. Now you can see it shows you just this ball here. This is always the case unless you want it to be a plane or box or whatever. This is just to preview your material instance. Okay, so I'll leave it on the ball, and you can see now I've got access to the color and hue shift. First you need to check them just to say you want to change them, and I'm going to change this to blue, and I'm going to use hue shift here to change it to red. Run about 0.3, 0.35, 36. Okay, so that's pretty much as red as it gets. Now you can go into the master material through this. If you double click, it'll open it up and we can bring in more things. So if you press S and click, it will give you a scalar parameter or just a single vector. And let's call this roughness. And then S again, and call this metalness. Because these are parameters, they'll be exposed to the material instance where you can change them. So let's just plug these in. Let's give the roughness a default value of 0.6, and metalness we'll leave it 0. And if I save this, that will now rebuild the shader, and the instance gets updated with these extra parameters. Now I can change the metalness and the roughness. Okay, so that's a really short and sweet tutorial on how to make material instances, and that's what you would apply to your models. Just be sure to keep organized and have 2 folders, one called your masters and one called instances. And just drag that in there, and your instance in there, and that way you only ever use these. So if you can duplicate this with Control W, we can call this hue green, and we can simply change the hue value till we get to green, and that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Bye.